Welcome back to the Bumper Breakfast. Of course, coming up next, we're talking about the mental health of a molested child. And of course, I have Dr. Precious Uwagbai in the studio with me and human rights representatives from the National Human Rights Commission, NUI, as it's saying. We'll be back with that after this musical break. Yes, welcome back to the Bumper Breakfast. Last lap this morning, of course, I did say we're talking about the mental health of a molested child. Quite a number of people are talking on social media about that case of a young 14-year-old girl who was abused as a 7-year-old and once again as a 14-year-old. And nobody is talking about how this affects mental health, how this affects being able to navigate life and mix in society. And so we brought with us this morning someone from the Office of the National Human Rights Commission here in Lagos, Mimi Atete. She's also a blogger and she's quite involved with some of these cases. And of course, Dr. Precious Uwagbai gives us the medical and psychological perspective this morning. Good morning, lady and gentlemen. Good morning, Mimi. How are you today?
I'm fine. Good morning.
I really did miss you too.
So what did you bring from?
Don't bother asking. Thou shalt not ask. And Dr. Precious, good to have you back.
Thank you very much for having me.
Seriously, this morning, Mimi, I'd like to begin with you and let's talk about this story. This one story to a lot of us was shocking, but to you, I don't think it was.
It wasn't really a surprise.
Why?
Because it's reports and stories that we read every day, we see every day information.
Wow.
Yeah, it's on the rise. Especially during the lockdown, there were so many cases of molestation, abuse, and all that.
Now, with these cases, is it more peculiar to women or to girls or boys? Which side did it swing?
The women.
It's more on the
To the
girls.
girls,
than
yeah.
on the male.
Children, girls, and then young boys. Yeah, like for the young boys, we hardly receive stories about or cases about young boys being molested or violated.
So
We see
maybe
more,
1 out of 10.
1 out of 10. But about young girls, children, we see them all the time.
And usually, what's the process of attending to this matter?
Okay, now for Lagos State, once we receive cases of violations or
Okay.
abuse or molestation, first thing we ask the parents to take them to Mirabel Center. You know, Mirabel Center has a partnership with Lagos State government and other NGOs. We take them there, we carry out a test. Mirabel carries out a test, and then they send a report to the agency that requested for the test to be done. So if there are cases or there are incidents of penetration or attempted rape or anything like that, then we now advise, we write and charge it to court.
Okay.
We advise the police to charge the matter to court. You know, it's the police that takes cases like that because it's a criminal case. Then we get the domestic and sexual violence response team involved in the matter too.
Okay.
So that's at the commission we monitor, we ensure that the cases go to court, the alleged violator is picked up and detained and then charged and whatever the court decides, take it away. But we ensure that the alleged violator is arrested. If he's not arrested, we always advise the parents to go to court, to the police and report the matter.
Let me take a very quick break. A molested child, Dr. Precious. Let's look at this. How does this affect this child? These issues have happened already. Naturally, see.
I'll give you 6 effects of this very quickly. Now, but from a foundational point, sexual abuse amongst children is molestation is the contact between a child and an adult, or an adult using a child for sexual purposes. You see, when we're growing up, we were told stranger danger. Stranger danger. So when a stranger comes around, you are careful. But these days, you know, it's not just stranger danger. There are family members who also molest
fathers to daughters,
children.
fathers to sons.
Like when I was driving down, I stumbled on the story of this Thierry, this lady who was molested by her grandfather at the age of 3. And from the age of 3, the man started touching her. And when she started growing up, she started enjoying it. But later on, she found out it was wrong. But by the time she was getting enough sense to realize it was wrong, it was already too late. It had messed her up. And some of the effects are things I'm going to talk about. Number one is severe psychological consequences, ranging from depression to suicidal thoughts to sexual dysfunction to self-inflicted injuries as a result of that consistent penetration. Yes, some of them, when they are traumatized, then post-traumatic stress disorder. Yes. So from that, you get into point number 2. As a result of this, shame coupled with fear of the molester takes over the mind of the molestee. That's why they don't talk when they and I'm talking
People
to
think
parents.
it's because they're threatened.
Yes, because they are afraid. They are afraid,
afraid.
and then there is this shame in them. So that's why we really need to talk and give out information so people can understand what's happening out there. If you don't speak, you are helping your molester to have a free go on you. Number 3, maladaptive coping. Now, maladaptive coping is as a result of that abuse. They start using drugs. They start
So they look for
using
coping mechanisms. Some
alcohol.
just help them.
Yes, start taking alcohol, taking substances. That's one of the effects. And then number 4, self-blame.
It's my fault.
It's my fault. If I was not there at the time when they said I shouldn't be there. And as a result of self-blame, you take that to low self-esteem. Because when you blame yourself so much, you now start lacking confidence in public. And don't forget, this will now result in poor performance in school.
You know,
The child starts failing.
Dr. Fisher, let me come in there. Like, as much as the child goes through this psychological trauma, psychological depressive and
Tendencies.
and all that, but just know that it's not all children are good through this. The younger ones don't even know
What happens.
The younger ones don't
They
even
heal
know
easily.
They heal easily.
Yes.
Sometimes they even play
But it affects them mentally, even when they're in school.
We received, okay, we received a case of a 13-year-old that was defiled. I handled the case in the commission. The guy is in prison right now, he's serving his children. And even when we brought the girl to the office for mediation, for a panel and a meeting and all that, she didn't even know what was happening. She was just
Because she's ignorant of the case.
Ignorant.
And that's why we need to put out more
And we were more
information
concerned.
about this.
Her father was concerned that she wasn't even bothered. I think
Do
she
you
knew
know,
about-
Mimi,
she just
this-
saying,
what
he just played with me.
Mimi.
He carry a thing, he rub out.
Mimi, hear me. Do you know that hypersexuality is one of the effects of child molestation? Yes. Are you aware of that? That's not out there. When a child the child is growing up, she's being molested or is being molested, then he grows up to become a beast. Sleep with 5 girls in one day.
Let's talk
And you
about
think it's just
solution.
natural?
Okay, like another thing again, the ones that they abuse, they defile them at 2-3 years. I don't know how they grow up to know, or who lets them know.
You see the problem?
How do they know that?
This is how they
at that
know.
age?
This is how they know. When a molester starts with a molestee, they don't stop. Even when they meet you after 5 years, they continue on. Did you see the story that is trending?
You
He
get
touched
it.
her 7 years ago and came back. When a molester gets a molestee, they prey on your mentality, they prey on your psyche.
There is the preying
Every
on
time they
them.
meet you, they impact you. Every time they meet you, they touch you. Did you
Yeah,
see the
as
video?
the child grows up,
Mimi,
I see the
Mimi,
same
did you
person
see the
every time.
video of Baba Ijesha? He was actually licking the girl from the neck to the head, touching her private. It was all bad. It was really, really bad.
You see, this is where I really
Now
want
at
us
age
to
14.
look at. This is where I really want us to look at here. As the mother, family member of this child who is going through this, is there a safety net for this child? Can they run to the National Human Rights Commission and have succor? We know they can run to the Lagos State government and have succor there, but can they run to you and have succor? What if the molester is an elderly person, an influential person? Is there a place?
You know, yeah, there's always a place to run to for support. But also remember that sometimes the parents of the child will still come back to the commission and we've settled the matter. We don't want to go and get, like the matter I was handling, the father almost asked us to withdraw
the case.
Because the friends, the neighbors and all that were saying, why do you want to send this boy to prison? The boy has already apologized to you, or the family promised compensating.
Just like what people are doing to Princess now. Yeah. Some people are backlashing her, that the guy pleaded with you.
Exactly. And there shouldn't be anything like
you should have forgiven him.
See,
so the ones like a plea bargain, is that acceptable with the National Human Rights Commission?
We don't accept plea bargain.
Do you do settlement out of court?
We don't.
The person must be prosecuted.
The person must be prosecuted.
Once the case gets to you, the person must be prosecuted.
Once we tell the police, look, take this matter to court, we now let the police handle
the matter.
Yeah. So you know the police can go back and negotiate with the family and the violator. They call for a meeting between the alleged violator. Yeah, they can do that.
But once it leaves your table, you recommend that it goes to court.
It goes to court.
Really? We're still going to take this conversation forward and have a part 2 to this conversation next week, because we're talking safety net here. How do we ensure that we present well-rounded individuals, irrespective of this molestation, to the society again and have them fully functional in society? Dr. Precious, how do you close?
I close by saying 50% of women are abused on a regular basis. 25% of men are now being abused. The first safe haven for anyone that is abused is your parents. But when your parents are not accessible, try and talk to someone that is responsible.
Then at the commission, we tell young children, to always be vigilant. If someone touches your boobs, touches your bum, if it is a man, you go for his balls. You can kick him on the balls, you know. And if it is a small child, once you get home, you tell your parents, Mommy, Uncle, this touched my bum, Uncle, this touched my bum. These days, we have to tell these children every part of the body. And
must not be touched.
Every part of the body must not be touched. Even your ear must not be touched.
Every part of your body must not be touched.
There's no need of hiding names of body parts.
From your
that's a very important.
You know, when we were young, they always hide some things from us, but
that's part of
children, these parts of the body must not be touched.
We need to go. Thank you so much, Mimi and Dr. Precious Uwagbai, for being here with us this morning. You can check them out on social media, Mimi and Tedse, and Mimi. Yeah. And of course, Dr. Precious was on Instagram and on Twitter as well. My name is Tomi Siojo. This is the Bumper Breakfast. Don't forget, you can keep your child safe. Don't hide the body parts. Don't hide their names. Make it plain and make it simple. Create an enabling environment for them to communicate with you from time to time. Do have a lovely day and a lovely weekend. Workers' Day, Monday.